local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
NASCAR is returning to Talladega Super Speedway for the 2024 Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th through Sunday, April 21. Guarantee your 2024 Geico 500 weekend experience today by visiting TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA. Enhance your race weekend by adding passes to the Talladega Garage Experience, presented by Cool Ray. It is the Geico 500 weekend, Saturday, April 20th and Sunday, April 21st. Guarantee your spot now, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com or 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We start the final hour from the Auburn football facilities today, talking everything Auburn athletics. We've done softball, we've done baseball. We've talked to Payton Thorne and Luke Dill about what's coming up for Auburn football. Hugh Freeze still to come later this hour. We're about to talk a little bit about equestrian and gymnastics coming up, the big regionals coming up. Your headlines today include the Final Four set for the women's in the NCAA basketball tournament: South Carolina, NC State, Iowa, and UConn. They advanced last night. Alabama gets away from Tuscaloosa today to go back to the men's Final Four. Emily Grace McWhorter, our reporter in Tuscaloosa for the 1245 Nate Oates News Conference. We'll have coverage on all our platforms for that. 3 o'clock flight for the team out to Phoenix today. And the Braves home opener today against Arizona. Those headlines brought to you this hour by our friends at Champy's. Champy's world-famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew cooking up everything perfect for your tailgate and football season, but also when you're watching the Final Four this weekend. Stop by and see him and check out the menu at champyschicken.com.
So the SEC Equestrian Championships are this weekend. But Coach Jessica Brazwell, nice enough to take away from her schedule to come talk to us. It's championship weekend. I know the last thing you probably need to be doing is talking to three idiots that are just sitting here messing around.
Well, thanks for having me. We just got back from SEC.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
it was this past weekend.
It was this past weekend, yeah.
So-
And then we're getting ready for the national championship.
So even worse, it's the NCAAs. That's even more important.
Okay, I'm going to ask some intelligent questions and some dumb ones. Did you have a favorite horse growing up?
Sure. Yeah. I started riding when I think I took my first lesson when I was 4. And then was lucky enough to have some horses growing up. So those were probably my favorites.
Do you love it when friends or, I don't know, sports reporters have a church member in their Sunday school class who takes equestrian classes in high school and want to give you their name?
Yeah.
Is that illegal?
That's okay. That's okay.
Because I've got a couple I need to hand to you. So you take over for the legend in the sport here, and Auburn has been your home for a long, long time. What was that moment like when they said, "We want you to be the coach of this great program"?
A dream come true for sure. I was lucky enough to ride here when I was in school, and I've worked with Coach Williams now. I think we figured out that it was, 20 something years between my time as a student athlete and then coaching. So definitely a dream come true and an honor to be able to take over the program, and very lucky too. He's still around as head coach emeritus, so he's still on our staff, and That's been great, just having him to bounce things off of and still part of the program.
Dunaway kind of joked about the recruiting there. What is a typical recruiting visit like for equestrian?
So we go on the road probably 6 to 8 times a year. Nothing like how much you have to go on the road for football or anything like that. But we go to events where we can see the most kids at one time. So we'll go to events where there's anywhere from 100 to 300 kids that are competing in one of the big classes, things like that. So we evaluate through their probably 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, and then able to start making contact right before their junior year in high school. And it's probably looks similar to every other sport as far as trying to see them at competitions once we're allowed to, get them on campus. I think for Auburn, it's always about getting them here, getting them on campus and showing them Auburn. And then, from there, trying to get them to commit to spend 4 years here.
Now he said he was going to ask some dumb questions. Give me like practically what you're looking for when you're recruiting.
Just, a lot of it is so college riding is you ride a neutral horse. So you ride a horse you've maybe never ridden before.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So in this sport, we call it catch riding. So looking for athletes that have ridden, they maybe don't own their own horses, or they don't have a horse that they ride the same horse every single weekend, but they're catch riding. So they're riding horses for different trainers or professionals or people, and they're showing a different horse every weekend, or they're showing a different horse in a different class, because that really prepares them for college and all the different types of horses and everything that they might encounter. So that's probably one of the biggest things we look for is kids that have ridden a lot of different horses.
Yeah, in college, my baseball coach, one of our punishments if we did something wrong, missed a class or something, was called a ball bag. We just talked to Luke and Peyton. You have to run stadium bleachers. In equestrian, is there a punishment if somebody misses a class or something? You have to
stand behind the horse and pull its tail.
Clean out the stable. What do you do for punishment?
Clean out the stable.
Probably
That's pretty good.
probably similar to most sports. We don't there's no punishment on the horse or around the horse. So we try to keep it, in the strength and conditioning, or sometimes they'll do some work around the barn and things like that. But the horse doesn't have to be involved.
Yeah. Sorry, Dunaway. No saddle today. Go to class.
How tough is it to find a 3-6 donated horse?
We're very lucky. We've got great relationships.
Wow. I was impressed. I was impressed. That was good.
That was good. We've got good relationships with donors and stuff. So we're pretty lucky with our horse quality.
I did have a friend, Maddie Harden. I've just got to read you what she sent me last night. He's a big rider. Yeah. So you guys go ahead and talk. I'll find this. It's pretty good though.
Yeah.
It's about your former head coach, Greg Williams.
But the history of this program is second to none, right? So when you're in recruiting terms, you walk to an event and they see Auburn Equestrian on your gear, you draw a crowd.
We hope. It is the history of the program and the success of the program. Definitely helps in recruiting, and we've never been afraid to we want to try to get the top kids in here, and they also have to fit the program though, and that's a big thing I think we've done a good job of in recruiting, is making sure that we're recruiting kids that are not only talented but fit what we do. And we luckily, Coach and I have worked together for so long, and we have a good feel for what that is, and I think that's been a big part of it too.
I was talking to Coach Freeze earlier. They have this new building here. Do you guys need an indoor facility or something over there?
We don't know. We're lucky.
Indoor would be tough.
Yeah, we've got a really nice facility that we had a barn and a locker room, team room built in 2019. So we're in good shape, and our offices now are over in the athletic complex, old football offices. So we're happy as can be.
Okay. Would you be nervous to clinic with Greg Williams with your team auditing?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. No way.
What is that?
Here's what I sent.
Now do it for English.
Explain last one. And she said, George is an Olympian and he's a hard ass. Scares a lot of people. And people wouldn't want to be, some people aren't brave enough for when he's watching. I shorten that up a little.
Yeah. Okay.
My team would just rag on me the whole time. They would enjoy that. They would enjoy that a lot.
End of the season. Team building.
It would be good team building.
I don't know if that's team building. That sounds like character building for me, but
It's on the way we could ride a horse for you today to wipe your bracket challenge.
He lost the bracket challenge, so we're trying to find unique things for him to do to pay it off.
Yeah, I worked in Lexington for a while, and they had polo ground, a big polo event, and for TV I got on it, and I was so scared that I make the mistake that people who don't ride horses make, and you start pulling, and it makes the horse really mad.
yeah.
And so I'm not good with horses. So
Well, practice starts at 1, so
Yeah.
you're welcome to come out.
Oh, that's good. That's good content.
There we go.
I would be better off cleaning the stables for you.
You know, we'll go dress you as a cowboy. Sure, there's a good Western wear store around here somewhere. If he comes out in chaps, is that going to scare your team off?
Yes, yes.
I love it. We're trying to do this. She's getting ready for the NCAA. Hey, we got this guy's going to come dressed as a cowboy.
Got to keep it loose, right? This might be great for the team.
Yeah.
We call this team.
And then when they're interviewing after you won a national championship, well, they rolled some dude out. I don't know, from Birmingham. He got on one of the horses.
He caught a ride.
They would enjoy it. They'd be, they'll roll with the punches. So.
They could throw things at me too while I ride. It'd be great.
Coach, good luck. We appreciate the time. Nice meeting you.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much
good
for
luck.
having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
and thanks for putting up with our sometimes ignorance about.
Oh, the 3-6.
That was good.
Yeah, donated.
Yeah,
That was
but
good.
even her face said he read that.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I mean, of
that.
course.
Yeah.
Been on a horse like 3 times in my life.
She saw my mouth drop open when you were talking. I was like, oh, that was a planted question.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Coach.
Show being brought to you by our friends at NASCAR Racing as well. High speed racing over at Talladega is coming back April 19th through the 21st. I could say something cheesy about horsepower, but I'm not going to do that. It's great racing, great people watching, and your Geico 500 ticket gets you in to see Walker Hayes in concert coming up on Saturday night. All you have to do to get tickets is TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, or go to 877-GO-TO-DEGA, the phone number, 877-GO-TO-DEGA, and you can make it happen there with great racing. 2 races on Saturday, the ARCA and the Xfinity race, and then, of course, the Cup race happening there right there with the Geico 500 on Sunday. Check it out, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, camping all week long, and you can call up 877-GO-TO-DEGA.
All right, so as we return live on camera, the guy that looks like he could break us in half is Eugene Asante. I hear he's a nice guy, though, so he's not going to do that.
You've got my arms, my man.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well. So your teammate, Luke Dill, we were just talking to he and Payton Thorne, and we were talking about the improvement on offense, and he said, listen, we've improved on offense, but I am so encouraged about what I'm seeing with our defense, too. So even the tight end saying he's seen a lot from that defense. What have you seen?
I just seen a lot of guys that are flying around and making plays, guys that are certainly excited to be a part of the defense and excited to show the coaches what they can do. So I'm just excited about the new energy that Coach Durkins brings to our defense. I'm excited about everyone buying into what they're trying to teach us. And, I'm just excited to see the young guys stepping up. We got so many young guys that are going to have to fill big roles for us. And I understand that, they understand that, and they're coming in and they're putting their nose to the grindstone. So I'm excited to see them. They're thrown in the fire, but, they're going out there and playing the way they need to play. So I'm super excited to see them and continue to see them progress.
How big of a change in the X's and O's of a coaching staff change on the defensive side of the ball? Is it a totally new look, or is there a lot of carryover from what we've seen from you guys last year?
I think it's just styles, how somebody can implement their defense. Some guys want us to play a certain way. Another coach might want us to play a different way. So I think Coach Durkins is certainly someone who's aggressive style, downhill. He wants his linebackers to play fast and physical style of football. And, I certainly admire that, being a player that is a downhill player, wants to come around and fly around the ball and it just be a disruptive player. So I think there's a lot of carryover in terms of blitz patterns and certain things that we do in coverage and, just the way the coaches implement it. But Coach Durkin's style is certainly aggressive, and he wants us to come out swinging every game.
We've heard about a lot of these new receivers, the Freeze 4 and Cam Coleman, and the guy's supposed to be the real deal. First hit on him in practice, what did you tell him?
Oh, I told him welcome to college football. Yeah, I hit him, and I was like, man, I told him after, I had to apologize to him. I'm like, Cam, I hope you understand. It's just I'm this way on the field, man. But like in the locker room, it's all love. I support you, and it's certainly somebody that I love, and I want to see him continue to progress. But when I hit him, I was like, man, I got to let him know about it. I got to let him know about it. So I was like, Cam, welcome to college football. And he's like, dang. He's like, look, you can tell he like looked up, was picking himself up.
So. But what do you see from? I mean, these are young guys coming in, but I mean, they're look like immediate impact kind of guys.
Yeah, Cam Coleman is certainly an immediate impact type of guy. He's somebody that high points the football, plays the game the right way, uses his vertical, uses his body, is able to make those contested catches, is able to make those big catches in traffic. And he made a catch down the field. I felt like it was kind of like a defensive pass interference, I'm gonna be honest. And he's got the ball cradled in one hand, he catches it, and we got to run down the field. It's probably like a 40-yard completion. It's just like he's so dynamic in what he does, and I'm excited to see him grow and progress. And we got other guys, freshman Bryce Kane is certainly somebody that takes the top off of defense. He's so electric. His speed is like second to none. He's certainly somebody that just takes the top off the defense, and excited to see him go vertical and stretch the field. We got so many other guys, and Malcolm Simmons, the guys that are going to come in. Malcolm Simmons is in our group chat sending videos of him running track and just dusting people, and I'm like, man, this dude's an athletic freak. So I'm just excited to see him come in. And Perry Thompson, we've heard a lot about him and how he uses his body to make contested catches and stretch the field vertically. And those guys are going to be certainly impact guys, and I'm excited to see them under Coach Freeze.
You ever wanted to get Payton Thorne out of that no contact jersey?
Oh yeah, a couple times. The offense is crazy because the offense be like, they'll throw a slant and they'll be like touchdown, and I'm right there to like sack Payton on. They're like, and I'm like, it's a sack, and but that's the thing, having a offensive head coach, they're gonna call the touchdown.
Yeah, I remember you had your really coming out party for Auburn last year in Berkeley.
Yeah.
And staying up late night. What time did that game end? Like 12:30?
Late.
It was late, but it was one of the worst offensive games I've ever seen. You contributed to that.
Well, I was just excited, man. It was my first career start with Auburn. Just getting the opportunity under Coach Ron and that staff to, show what I can do. And I'm so grateful and blessed to get that opportunity, especially being the only game on, like you guys said, late night, just flying around and just having fun. And, that game was such an exciting game for me. We have Sam Jackson now, who's came from Cal, and it's so funny because he was a quarterback there. And I talked to him in the locker room. I'm like, man, what'd you think when I was coming off the edge and trying to sack you? He's like, man, I saw this fast dude, number 9, coming at me, and I just spun out. I'm like, I'm gonna make him miss right here, and I was able to get him down. So me and Sam talked trash to each other about that game.
Eugene Asante is with us. If I'm not mistaken, you were also involved in one of the stranger plays of the year, the fumble return against Texas A&M, where Jimbo Fisher is basically like out at the number.
Yeah.
And I think you went inside of him, did you not?
Yeah. So Jimbo was standing on the field. I believe he said that he thought the play was over.
Yeah.
And I got the ball, just hustling to the ball, and I saw the ball go in the air. I caught it, and I'm running. And I just see a coach on the field. I wasn't able to identify in the moment. It was Jimbo. But it was just so funny to see because, like a lot of people are like, Gene, why didn't you, give him the people's elbow, stiff arm, give him a, shoulder, something. And I'm like, just in the moment, I'm so focused on scoring and stuff. It probably would have been a cool thing, it'd be like, hey, I trucked the coach, on national television.
Yeah.
But, it's just exciting to be out there. And, he didn't really interfere with the play, but it was certainly something I'll remember for sure.
By rule, they would have given you the touchdown. You could have given them the people's elbow,
yep.
and they'd still given you the touchdown.
Yeah, I heard about that after. I was like, man, it would have been a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
Hey, what was it like growing up having an older brother that played in the NFL? I mean, did you guys all sit down and watch Sunday games together?
Yeah, that was such a special experience for me because, being a young kid, you see your brother get drafted, and my brother was really my role model growing up. I wanted to be like my brother, and just sitting every Sunday, it was just such a special moment. Me, my family, my dad especially would sit there and watch my brother play. And I remember when he was playing for Tampa Bay, after church, we drive it home. Like, yeah, they're playing at this time. We got to get home by this time. We're, making plans in church to get home so we could watch our brother play. And I remember he was playing for Tampa Bay, and I think he was second string at the time, but he got subbed in the game somehow, and he was playing at safety. We're like, oh, my brother's in, and he caught a pick on Drew Brees, and the excitement in the house, just seeing my brother catch an interception. The whole family was going crazy. it was certainly a special moment, and that's something that's vivid to me, being a 11, 12-year-old kid.
That wasn't the same game where Sean Payton got his knee blown on the sideline.
I don't know.
Because that was the Dunaway massacre game.
The Auburn athletics and students blend so well together here on this campus. Tell me about the light blue bracelet you have there on your wrist.
Yeah, this is for Will Romanowski. It says, "Be better than yesterday." It's a note that he wrote on his sticky note that his mom and his family found. Will was a 19-year-old kid that passed away in a car accident. Through my academic advisor, I was able to hear about the story of Will, and I was able to sit down and understand truly the person behind, just understand Will. And this is certainly something I wanted to wear. I continue to wear. I've been wearing it since the season, and I love the message behind "Be better than yesterday." That's certainly something that comes with being a part of this game. You want to be continue to make continuous steps, and it's not even just football. It's about life, just trying to progress as a man, trying to progress as a Christian, trying to progress in all avenues and facets of my life. So while trying to honor Will, and that's something I wanted to do and continue to try to do that.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Appreciate it.
Best Ghanaian dish?
Jollof rice. Can
you cook it?
Nah, I'm more of, my mom actually like gets mad at me because I've lived in the house all these years and I can't really cook that. I'm more of a, PB&J Uncrustable,
Me too, my friend.
Just easy.
Yeah. Hopefully one day I find like a wife or a girl that can like cook for me, because all I know is PB&Js right now.
Hey, nothing wrong with those.
Yeah.
Get that big contract. You'll find one quick.
That NFL contract will not be a problem.
Yeah.
I've been married 25 years. Enjoy being single in the Uncrustables. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Eugene, good luck this year, man. We appreciate the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Get in the weight room.
Yeah. Always. Yeah. Appreciate y'all.
Arm day. I like it.
Arm day. Always.
All right. We continue on with the next round. Hugh Freeze still to come. Brownie, the show being brought to you in part by our friends at MyBookie. They got our Final Four coverage coming up.
They do. You can see it right there at mybookie.ag, where the point spreads are up. Alabama still a 12-point underdog as they take on UConn, and still there at 9.5 for Purdue as they are favored over NC State. And that is where you find it right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round. They'll be bringing you the coverage from out in Scottsdale. Up next, it's just a carousel of Auburn people. Coach Jeff Graba, who you see in our commercial breaks, the gymnastics coach at Auburn, wearing a next round shirt.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. I mean, what happened there?
Was it gifted?
Was it gifted to you?
I honestly think I got it from Coach Pearl.
Oh, Coach Pearl.
Yeah.
Okay, so we send him to Coach Pearl, and he's like, "Well, I'm not going to wear these. I'll give mine to
He must have had an extra, and it wasn't big enough for him.
Okay, we've got more over there for you. So
I'll definitely wear it again.
Yeah, we'll let you wear it again. We appreciate you repping it, though.
Yeah.
That was nice of you.
As a fan of your sport, I've never really factored home court or home arena advantage into gymnastics until your program and what you're able to do here. Boy, a gymnastics night over at Neville Arena has turned into a magical thing. And I love the way the students get involved. Tell the people that maybe haven't seen that, what that has become and how intimidating it is for visiting gymnasts who come in.
Yeah, I think it's one of the, I believe it's the best college atmosphere in gymnastics. And what we tried to do, and I think, Bruce and I got here, I was here a little bit before Bruce, but we were both building the programs at the same time, and they've turned out to be very similar. What the Jungle and the fan base does for men's basketball, it's the exact same for what they do for us. It's a tremendous home court advantage. Home court's an advantage when you just have you talk of just simple equipment and all that other stuff, but to have a fan base like we do, we're the only school, I think, in the country that gives away their best seats to 1,500 students and encourages them to come down and get rowdy. And I think it really gives us something that nobody else can get.
When you're talking about being on in an event and with balance is so important, and then the students all of a sudden are leaning one way. I watch some of the videos sometimes from my couch, and I'm like, how do you even stand on your feet at that point? I would fall just instantly when they move.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes when they're doing the bars, I remember when the gymnasties are the crazies that we have down in the front, and they're going back and forth like the wave, that maybe I probably wasn't as good an athlete, so I probably wouldn't have been able to hack it. But seems like my athletes can hack it pretty well.
You were a child of the 80s, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So we were talking about baseball movies earlier. If I asked you gymnastics wise, Kevin Bacon, his form on the uneven bars in Footloose, or Vince Vaughn on the rings in Old School.
The best was, who was the kid who did the vault in Old School?
Yeah.
That was the best.
So that's what I was thinking. So we're trying to get this guy to do something when he's here for content. If you do the vault, we'll call it even.
I can't flip. You guys keep.
He'll teach you. You can do a quick tutorial.
Yeah.
And he could probably
you're gonna have to sign a lot of paperwork.
Hey, so regionals are coming up. Just this league, first off, finishing the SEC championships. It's such a dynamic league in every sports, and gymnastics is no different. How have you seen that grow with other programs over the years? It's a lot deeper now than it used to be.
Yeah, it's right now. All 8. There'll be 9 next year. All 8 are in the top 20.
Right.
And so you can't go anywhere and hide in this league. And next year we're bringing Oklahoma, who's the 3-time defending national champ. So we're not getting weaker, we're getting stronger. I think it prepares us for the postseason, but it's also pretty brutal of a season to get through. You need a lot of depth. You need to utilize everybody, and every team's pretty beat up by the end of the year. But I do think you get into the postseason and the stressors on my team isn't the same as some of these other teams when we're up against it every night. Every Friday night we're going to be in a tight match and up against one of the top 10 teams in the program or programs in the country.
Growing up with a twin brother, is he identical?
Yeah.
So what's the craziest thing? Do you guys date the same girls, go to different classes? There has to be something.
He never did homework, so I didn't really want him doing my homework or going to my classes. There was a couple of mix-ups with dates, but it wasn't his.
Wait. It's got to be intentional.
Yeah,
I think it. I remember one time in high school, our dates were meeting us and I wasn't in the room, and the wrong girl picked the wrong guy. So
had the night
it made me question her commitment to me.
That's right. Hey, so you're from Minnesota too, and years ago we had this guy, this grill master came in, and he wanted to prepare a Juicy Lucy for us, and we were so excited because you think about everybody loves cheeseburgers. You get a cheeseburger with cheese inside of it, and we were like, it was kind of underwhelming. Are you a Juicy Lucy guy?
I was for a while there. Yeah, there's a bar that does it really good in
I saw that on Man vs. Food.
Yeah,
I forgot what it is. Yeah, it's in Minneapolis or St. Paul.
It's in Minneapolis, downtown area. But I mean, I never went out that much. I wasn't making enough money to go buy a Juicy Lucy. So I'm a gymnastics coach, guys. I'm making my own, and it's a cheap knockoff. It's some Velveeta cheese, shoved in there. So
I love doing crazy ideas. You ever thought about having an entire gymnastics meet early in the season inside Jordan Hare Stadium and trying to set the record?
Actually, have thought about that. Yeah, we have gotten really close to getting serious about that. It used to happen, outdoor events used to happen in our sport quite a bit. And I was actually part of one in Chicago, but you have to prepare for it. But I think that would be a huge thing to do. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Does that be a factor on like the uneven bars though? I know that sounds like a stupid question.
So the mats are blue.
Okay.
And the sky is blue, so you can get confused. You better practice. You're kicking out at the wrong time.
Wow, I would not have thought of that. But I mean, Nebraska did it for volleyball.
Yeah,
and I mean, it was a huge success for them. Yeah.
Oh, I think it would be huge.
Yeah. Oh, you guys got similar fan bases. I mean, it's all about family.
Yeah. It's and tons of young people showing up, parents with kids showing up. That'd be great. I think we could easily set the record.
I know you've been thinking about it. We'll give you credit though.
Yeah.
If it ever happens.
No, he's been thinking about it. I'll take credit later on. That's the way I roll.
As long as it happens, you can have credit.
Oh, he will. You remember the late Stuart Scott, the ESPN Sports Center?
Yeah.
He said Stewart stole all his.
Yeah. The cooler than the other side of the pillow.
Oh, I thought I had that first. I really did.
He beat Stewart too.
His delivery was better than yours.
Oh, well.
Obviously.
Boy, you're a good gauge of talent. Short period of time, you've already figured that out. Really good. Well, good luck at regionals, man. We appreciate you so much, and the atmosphere you've created down here. I don't know. I would imagine the opposing coaches speak under their breath at you and about you for the atmosphere.
We're not popular for the right reasons.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine.
We talked about recruiting. Just one more question for me, but my niece is a big gymnast.
Here we go.
When do you start recruiting? Because I mean, she's like really good, and she's 6 years old. I mean, when do you?
He never hears this either.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Never.
But she is really good. I'll get out of the.
No, I'm just saying, but
good.
But I think football and basketball, you start watching these guys, basketball 8th, 9th grade, football when they develop a little bit more. But gymnasts, you've got to catch these. I mean, when Russia was dominating the Olympics, they were catching these people at like 2 or 3 and starting them out, right?
Yeah. Well, we recruited SUNY committed here in 8th grade, and she had been at our camp since 5th grade. So that is not how we recruit now. They have changed the rules, so now it's pushed back to late, and we're recruiting their junior year. But you're right, we're paying attention the whole time, because in our sport, if you're good,
you do it online, a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. And if you're good at 12, 13, and 14, it takes so long to be good in our sport that if you're good at that point, then we can sort of predict that you're going to stay at a pretty high level as long as your health stays up.
Yep. He basically said she'll need to be an Olympian.
Emma could be. Who knows? We'll see.
You'll take another Olympian.
I'll watch the YouTube.
Hey, we were talking to Coach Freeze earlier, and he seems extremely busy. And I know he's got jet time from the university, so maybe borrow it for a couple of recruiting visits.
All right. If you can help me with that, we'll do that.
We're here for the day.
Coach, great, but good luck, Coach. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Yep. Our show being brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right as well. LT's going to tell us about Mortgage Right, and we'll take a quick break after that. Tell us about Mortgage.
Yeah, buying a home, major milestone in life, getting it right comes down to the right advice at the right time. That's why we're proud to partner with the friends at Mortgage Right, who do mortgages the right way. 205-815-9200. Apply online, mortgageright.com/TNR, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Gymnasties is a good name, too, for their fan
The
base.
Gymnasties?
I like
Okay.
that. We're back in a moment right here on TNR.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
You have all heard of Red Wing Shoes, but what is Red Wing Shoes? It's the place where men buy boots, plain and simple. Who are Red Wing's customers? They are construction workers, warehouse employees, college students, the guy that fixes your AC, the guy at the end of the bar, the IT guy. Red Wing is a father, Red Wing is a son, Red Wing is a cult following shared by all men. A classic, comfortable pair of cool boots with a story to tell. What's your Red Wing story? Red Wing Shoe Stores, located in Pelham and Trussville.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
You got to look your best to play your best, and our friends at Bandwagon can help your team find the perfect uniforms for that upcoming season. Bandwagon is with you every step of the way, from developing your team logo design to choosing from their multitude of samples. You name the sport, they can make it happen. To get your uniform journey started, you can shoot them a message on any social media platform or check out their website, bandwagonsports.com. That's bandwagonsports.com. Next round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, April 26th through 28th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Castroneves, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness country music superstar Riley Green as Grand Marshal give the most iconic command in racing. Start your engine! Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst at the Barber Motorsports Park. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours now.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Hold on, stand by. We're about to be back. All right, back with you live down here at Auburn as we get rolling with Coach Hugh Freeze, who's about to sit down and talk with us about being a great father.
Yeah, I've got that part figured out, right?
Hey, I'm telling you, my daughter's boyfriend and her. I'm not supposed to say. I'm not going to.
Oh boy!
I got an important dinner coming up soon. I'm nervous about it.
Well, I've done 2 of those, and trust me, those will challenge you.
Yeah.
Do you? Is there any other reason to have a dinner?
I think it's mine were. I knew they were both coming. And I certainly didn't need to have a dinner with them. We went out in the backyard and had a conversation.
Well, thank you first for opening your doors today. We've talked to softball and gymnastics and baseball and equestrian and everybody, but we really wanted to spend some more time with you when we got down here, and it's been fun getting to know everything else. But to see this facility, when you came here and saw this thing, man, this is something. When a recruit walks in, it wows them, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's when I first was offered the job and got to see the place, we were not in it yet. No one was in it, and it was exciting to see the possibilities of it. And it's still, truthfully, we still have some things here and there that we're still doing that's going to make it even better. But it's certainly. We're thankful to our administration, all of our boosters and supporters that have allowed us to have such a phenomenal place to go to work and to recruit kids to. It's sure helpful.
You've had obviously success in this league before at Ole Miss, and we were talking to Luke and Payton earlier, and I was talking about elite coaches in year 2, Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Kirby Smart. They make that big jump. Mm-hmm. And I would assume you're kind of expecting now that if you can ever manage a roster in today's NIL world, but I would assume you expect a pretty big jump from year 1 to year 2.
I think through all of that stuff, and I try to think back to the journey we had at Ole Miss, and we went from 7 to 8 to 9 to 10, and so you do expect. When you take a job like this at a place like Auburn, you do expect to improve. You just hit on the thing that wakes up and haunts you is, used to you recruited a class and I knew, our first full recruiting class at Ole Miss, I knew we were on to something and that our environment was attractive and these kids could help change the program if you could just back it up with some following classes, which we were able to do. And I think recruiting, we've proved we can do that here, a top, 7-6 class in year 1. And we're off to a great start in 25, but retaining them, I didn't have to do that as much, and so I think that is the biggest question mark you have as far as how fast and the guys you mentioned, I don't think had to deal with that. Taking over a program that, many would say was down considerably compared to what its proud history is. And so I think that's the unknown. Do we expect improvement? Of course, absolutely. What does that look like in the win-loss column? I don't know. That's hard for me to quantify, but certainly anticipate us improving. And I think we proved we were pretty committed to the high school recruiting in the 24 class, and we stuck to that, and we didn't portal chase a lot. And now, do people give you the time to do it that way where I think it's more sustainable? And part B, those top guys we recruited, well, the voices are going to come for them, and what is our success rate of retaining? So I think those are the big question marks as to how fast. I have no doubt that we can get Auburn back to where it's been. It's just it's hard for me to put a time frame on it.
Jay Billis, I saw him say on ESPN, back in the day, a coach would say it's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
But back then there was no highway. Now there's a highway. So it's kind of harder, he was saying, for a coach to take that attitude. It's my way or the highway, because the highway exists now for the players.
It's very different. And, I talked to friends of mine in the business, and it's certainly a greater challenge. I try to, one of my goals in 24 that my wife is on me about is quit complaining. And so I'm trying to just embrace the fact that, man, we still have a great opportunity and a great job to do, even with the changes that many of us probably are not crazy about, and we don't believe that they teach the proper things totally. But we still have that opportunity, and I do think it's vital. I have to become a better listener. I did that in January with this squad, and let them present to me kind of what they thought the standard should be, because maybe I'm a little old school with some things, and I think that's been healthy. But there's definitely some changing that has to come from our end also in this new era.
You see things that the media and the fans don't see. And when Payton Thorne was with us earlier, that's probably the longest amount of time I've seen him talk and be around him and things. And I think I saw just a glimpse, I think, of why you believe in him so much.
Yeah.
I mean, he has some really good leadership qualities that I think in 18 minutes I was able to see better than in a 30-second soundbite.
Yeah, it's I get, people in today's time, and everybody has a voice and whatever platform they choose to be on, and they don't get to see everything. I do believe in Payton as a person, number one, as a leader. Certainly, he's got to earn what comes his way. I believe that for everybody. And do I believe he can become better in our system? Yes. But I do think it takes people around him too. And he was pretty dang good when he had those two NFL receivers at Michigan State. And if we can put some of those around him, maybe he can reach his full potential here. And but I do believe in who he is and what he's about and how he goes about doing. His football IQ is good. He studies the game. And I also think we got some people that are pushing him a little bit right now that are going to help him become hopefully even better.
And your journey, you've had some high highs, you've had some low lows. Go back to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, 1991. You're cut from the baseball team. I mean, is that something that sticks with you? And can you use that as a life lesson to talk to some of these kids, some of these walk-ons, and people that are really challenged with what's going on?
Oh, heck yeah! I tell these kids all the time. I teach a class to them, and it's all about my life story typically, and I usually try to find stories from it. And it's not like I tell them all the time. It's not like your coaches. Many of us didn't always have it our way. I wasn't good enough to be the starter at Auburn, and so what do you do when that happens? What do you do when life hits you like that? And last week's word is funny you mentioned that. Last week I'm teaching a series called Words from a Father this spring, and last week's word was failure, which I believe is a myth if handled correctly. And it's really not failure. It's just steps to success. And truthfully is I get tested, I fail, I learn, I improve, I re-enter. I get tested, I fail, I learn, I improve, I re-enter. And that's the game of football. That's the game of life. Unfortunately, there's you get to when you get tested and failed, it's right then that which voices do I listen to? And there's a ton that will tell you to search for greener grass and don't stay true to your dream or to your. Well, it was Thomas Edison, I think, that said, "I never failed. I just got it wrong 10,000 times before I got it right." And if you truly are passionate and committed to something, then it's then that you have to listen to those voices and not the ones that are looking for an easier out. And I'm afraid that, this week I'm teaching on another word, but I'm afraid that those are the people that you get to the end of your life and it's a bunch of would have beens, could have been, instead of, man, I was truly committed to something. And so yeah, I use my favorite.
Was one of those young voices in 1991 Brett Favre in Hattiesburg?
Yeah, well, Brett and I became good friends, so that was
well, you got a catalog of friends that people know nothing about.
Brett and I really didn't get close until I became the head coach at Ole Miss. I mean, I knew him when we were at Southern Miss, but we kind of enjoyed outdoors a little bit, and were able to get to know each other during my time there, and so. Brett is not one that I would call and get advice from. No, not that he wouldn't have it. I just we're not that close, but I do think a lot of Brett.
Is there a game, you mentioned failure as a misconception, is there a game that you can pinpoint that you learn, either good or bad, that you learn more from than any other game you've coached?
Well, 4th and 31 kind of sticks out right now.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up, but that was a difficult loss.
How many times do you watch it again?
I don't. I'm not watching it since
ever again. Huh?
No, I watched it after that week, and that was it. But
yeah. Well, what did you learn there?
Well, that's probably not the best answer for that. I really,
most fresh one.
Honestly, I know that there's a lot of people that would second guess. Well, you should rush more, or you can do that all day long. But I honestly don't disagree with the call. We should probably teach it a little better and execute it a little better. And if you rush a bunch of folks right there, we hadn't tackled him all night rushing him, so then you're one-on-one back there, and I don't like that idea. So I kind of agree with the call, but we certainly didn't execute the call very well.
And it was a heck of a throw. I mean, God,
it was, but we should have just been standing there with our butt to the sideline, just please throw it here, let me knock it down or something. And so we didn't obviously teach it very well to our young men to get that executed there. It was probably go back to high school. We lost our 4th straight state championship game.
So you lost 4 in a row?
4 in a row.
Wow, that's Buffalo Bill.
Marv Levy, yeah.
Marv Levy, yeah.
4 in a row before we won a string, but got there, a lot, and.
Please tell me somebody wrote a column that says you couldn't win the big game and then you won a lot after that, right?
I'm sure they did. Most everything I've done has been written about it ad nauseum, but we were going in to score with a minute left, under a minute. We're on the 3-yard line going in, and feeling really good. I had a kicker that actually went to Tennessee. So worst case, we're down 3. You're thinking, man, we're at least going to tie this thing, but I'm thinking we're going to score. And it's back when you're running the old wing T, belly play. And so it's like 2nd and goal from the 3, and we run a belly play, and our quarterback was reading it, and he comes out to belly, and he hits the thigh of the fullback at that time that we had, and the ball pops right up in the air, right into their defensive end, and he goes 98 yards for a touchdown.
Oh my gosh.
And that was the 4th one that we've lost, and all were really close, every one of them. And boy, I was in a tank, man. Like, I don't know that I'm going to keep doing this for a profession.
On 3 plays, you have to age like Barack Obama in presidency, because I go back to Hunter Henry.
No, 4th and 25, let's fling it over our head.
I'll never forget, I was
sitting right to the only guy.
Alex Collins. And you guys are going to Atlanta.
There's 22 guys on the field. The one guy you can't have catch that is Alex Collins. Yep.
The one guy. And I mean, so, and you're taking Ole Miss to Atlanta then.
Yeah.
And
that's a big deal.
Laquan Treadwell against Auburn going in and score that I still would have finished Atlanta the next year.
Yep.
And breaks his ankle and they review it and it's a fumble.
Dang, Coach.
I've had.
I'm sorry, I asked the question now.
4th and 31 here. In year one. So, man, you learn something from all those games.
What's the most amazing play that went your way?
You know, the one when you started talking about the ball popping up in the air, I thought back to that when you were at Ole Miss and you won in Tuscaloosa. As I remember,
Attaboy Joe.
Attaboy Joe caught it. 2 defenders, I think, collided and the ball popped straight up.
The guy that really made that play is Laquan Treadwell,
right?
Because he's the one that fought the 2 defenders and helped pop it up in the air.
And it just went right in his hands.
And it went right in his hands. We scored a bunch of points that game without that play, so it's hard to say that one is the one that kind of sticks out in my mind. But probably it was girls basketball. Really, we were down 19 points in the state championship game
with
2 minutes left, no shot clock.
Oh no!
That game ought to be over.
And win it in overtime.
2 minutes, you're down 19 points,
and win it. I've never seen anything like that.
That is incredible.
How did the other coach not just burn?
He was not happy, but we pressed them and got a few turnovers, hit several threes right in a row, and that was our 8th state championship game in girls basketball, and we won 5 of them.
Well,
so
with that said, I guess you'll agree with what I said. I said forever ago when Alabama was having a hard time getting a basketball coach, I was like, let Nick Saban coach them. I mean, a coach
figure it out.
A coach can coach, right, and recruit.
Yeah, I had no clue when I was just a first year assistant football coach, and the president of the school who started, who you feared, you're scared to death if you got a pink note from him that said, come see Mr. Clayton. I mean, it was like, oh my God,
different world.
Oh yeah. Scared to death. And I got that pink slip and I'm like, oh, what in the world? And it wasn't a conversation of, will you? It was, hey, coach, we've got an issue with this women's basketball program here. It's at December in mid-year and I'm making a change and I need you to take it over and get it through the rest of the year. And it was, yes, sir. And I had no clue what I was. And heck, 13 years later, I enjoyed the heck out of it. And now we got really good. I mean, really good. We were, top 25 in USA Today rankings several times, and we're really good. And so, but I figured it out, and truthfully, there was some Kevin McMillan. Truthfully, is who I learned most of the offensive sets that I would want to run. He still does a great job at UT Martin. He's going to make the NCAA every year. Obviously, it's hard for them to win in it, but he's going to be in it. And then defensively, I decided we are just going to run and jump and play 5 in, 5 out and just make it as chaotic as possible. And darn, if you find out, man, once you get a few athletic girls that can do that, it causes chaos for them. And we were just, and it started working out pretty good.
Yeah, 40 minutes of freeze would have been a great
that's
nickname
right.
for that defense.
That's right.
So, from Briarcrest to that, did you ever envision this? Was that the goal?
It's crazy. The first word I taught in the Words from a Father series was vision, and I shared with them my true story of when Jill and I got married. We didn't have much, but our honeymoon was in Gatlinburg, and
easy on a hill, right?
Yeah, man.
Panama City with mountains.
Thought it was big time.
It should be noted, I did not laugh until they.
Yeah, cool.
He knew we were going to laugh.
That's
do you go back yearly?
We haven't in a while, but I like the place actually. And my parents love that place. So, but we, on the way there, obviously we were coming from Memphis, and you go through Knoxville, and we stopped at Neyland Stadium, and I found a gate that was. My wife is a rule follower, to a T rule follower, and so I said, well, we can get through this gate. Oh, we're not doing it. Yeah, we're going going through this gate, and finally drug her through it pretty much, and and we went down on the field, and I did tell her then. I said, one day I'm going to be a head SEC football coach. Wow. That is absolute truth. Fast forward 13 years.
Did she believe you?
That's the crazy part. Is fast forward 13 years, she is the only one that still believed it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that ship had sailed for me, and so I was sharing with our kids that story of vision is you need who you surround yourself with matters. And had it not been for her encouragement, this would not be happening because I mean, you have kids, you're now a head coach at a good high school that paid decent for high school, and your kids get to go there and great Christian school education. And so there's no way I can go do this anymore. And they don't just hire you in the SEC to come be a coach. And well, she just wouldn't relent. And so I know you don't have time, but there's a lot of neat stories in that little journey of me flying to Miami and sitting on a park bench for 2 hours waiting to get in front of Ed Orgeron, and I did. I flew down there, and they were playing in the national championship. He'd already been named the head coach there, and finally got in front of him. He told me his staff was full, of course, and I had some good players in, at Greg Hardy and Michael Orr and Robert Towns and Justin Curry, and all these were recruitable players, and so but he, well, fast forward, we're in the state championship game in basketball in March, and I get a call from him and saying, my staff's still full, but I do, you're well recommended down here by a lot of people. And I've kind of got this new position I'm creating, this just kind of in his words, a gopher position. And that just kind of helps me go between the administration and stuff, since this is my first head job, and wondering if you'd be interested in that. I asked him what it paid, $38,000. I'll never forget that. And I said, I don't know about that, coach. I'll have to. And Jill she said, you've got to do it. You've got to take your shot. And
that's incredible.
So she talked me into it. And from that time that I took that off the field spot, 7 years from that time, I was back as a head coach in the SEC.
When the first time you stood in Neyland Stadium, did that feel different though? Because that's where you made that promise?
Never.
You've never coached at Neyland?
Not as the head coach. No.
So when you go finally coach there, and I don't know how this SEC schedule is going to work out.
That will be.
Well, that'd be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
Well, I hope game day's there, and that guy who always makes me cry does the story.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
I'll be crying on game day.
that would have to be an amazing feeling to say, this is where I
Jill would love to talk about that one.
Yeah.
That would be that would be a neat time. I haven't thought about that. And and there were still some ups and downs now.
I was going to say, the Ed Orgeron thing's fascinating because we've heard the story with Tommy Tuberville. Have you heard the Orgeron to Tommy Tuberville story?
I haven't.
Where Orgeron basically calls up Tuberville and he's like, I've got one assistant position left. And he had to drive overnight, like in his Toyota Tercel or something. And he got there and he ended up rooming with Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah.
But I mean, Orgeron basically begged for a spot on his staff.
In Miami, yep.
I mean,
that's what I did.
I mean, this.
And but then, Ed gets fired, and I have no clue what to do at that point. I've only been in the college game 3 years, and it's not like I have a Rolodex of head coaches to call and say, hey, I've got look at my resume. If I'd done a good job, I thought, of coaching receivers, and I recruited well, but it's not like I had I just didn't know what to do. So really in my mind, I'm going to go back to high school, and drove to Nashville, got offered a high school job there, and thought I was going to take it. And on my way back, I get this call from this little bitty school called Lambeth University in Jackson, Tennessee. And we were ironically on the way back from Nashville to Oxford, and it's right in the middle. And we stopped by there, and I go in. I mean, you're talking about no facilities, no weight room.
Briarcrest had better facilities.
Oh, not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, literally you didn't even have stands on the field.
Oh my gosh.
And so, and I go in there and I see the players working out in the gym, and Jill looks at me and she says, you're going to take this, aren't you? And I said, I think I am.
Yeah.
I think I am. I just want to see if we can take maybe the worst situation and win. And I want to tell you, it was two of the most enjoyable coaching years. We won 23 games and went to the playoffs both years. That's where I met Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah.
He was at Sioux Falls, and it's where I hired Tom Allen It's where he got his start in college football at Lambuth University, and Darren Hiller and Grant Hurd and Lee Wilbanks, and all those guys are doing really well in the college game now. And so we were that was an interesting time there.
Good day fishing, good day on the golf course.
Golf course
Every time.
I like catching a fish, but only if it's behind my house and I can be home in 5 minutes. Golf is so enjoyable to me. I'm crazy about it. I love competing at it. It's really, I really love it. I just want to compete, and I can be decent at it at times when I play a lot, but I love it. I love the fellowship of it. I love just playing the next shot and trying to put the last one behind you. And so,
do you have any good Jonesboro course stories with mosquitoes all over the place? Is that a legit thing with mosquitoes in Jonesboro?
There is a part of the season in Jonesboro, yes, that they are bad at night. It's not like it's terrible during the day. So you didn't experience a lot of that in the golf course, but the biggest mosquitoes we've ever experienced was in our time in Jonesboro, for sure.
Yep. We got like 2 minutes. Can we go rapid fire? Right?
Oh, we can save it. We'll see you.
Save it?
Yeah, I'll save it. We'll see you at.
You're gonna be at the Regions. We'll do it with you at the Regions.
Lord willing, I'll be there.
Yeah. Coach, thank you very much for having us.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank y'all for covering all.
You got some incredible. I will ask you one real quick.
Yeah,
so, I don't know if you ever heard the story about Bob Stoops and Nick Saban were in a bar in Youngstown, and they were talking like defensive strategy, and a dude came in and robbed the bar. This is a true story, and I'm just wondering because you've got crazy stories. We don't
now.
No, that's
I'm
true.
telling you, it's a true story.
Yeah.
Neither
one of them noticed it.
Yeah,
they had no idea.
They didn't even know what happened.
Nick's never told me that one.
Yeah, but ask him about it next time. But do you have any of these crazy stories like that?
I do. I've got Noah Mazzoni. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah, we know Coach.
Well, I had convinced myself that he was my ticket to the college game, to get in. I really thought, man, and he had taken a liking to me and was recruiting Briarcrest and was doing really well as the OC with Tuberville.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought he was going to be the next head coach at one of these schools, wherever, and I was going to be able to get it. And so he tells me the AFCA convention is in New Orleans this given year, and hey, meet me down here at this particular establishment. I go into this place at, we're supposed to be there, I guess 7 o'clock or whatever the time was. Well, 9 o'clock comes and Noah Mazzoni's still not there. So obviously I was totally wrong about that. And during that time there was several other coaches that were in the establishment there, and they all got in a little trouble. And watching me trying to get out of that and run out the back doors, and I called my wife and I said, Jill, I'm getting on the next plane and coming home. I'm not chasing this dream anymore, because this was uncomfortable for me. Believe it or not, most people won't, but most of my life I've made decisions I was really, really proud of. But there's been a few that have really,
we all make those bad decisions. You got to give us the unedited version of that story when we get off the air, because I know it's better.
I'll give you the 3 coaches' names.
All right, thank you, Coach. We appreciate it.
Good luck this year.
Yep.
Thank you so much, guys.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Shelley, Kirk, everyone down here who's opened up the doors. Thank you guys for being with us. We're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you. God bless America.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor.